Sherrilyn Ifill, endowed chair of civil. And joining me now is Sherrilyn Ifill, endowed chair of civil rights at Howard University and former president and director counsel of the Legal Defense Fund. Sherrilyn, there's so much to unpack. I almost don't know where to begin, but I want to start with the legality, if any exists, of an outside person who does not work for the federal government, having his team lock civil servants out of their computers and get access to the personal information of government workers.
Hi, Joy. There is so much to talk about, and you're asking the right question, and you should know that lawyers are poring over that very question. Not so much is it illegal, but what are the means by which its legality can be challenged? It is shocking, and I think we all have to give ourselves a little bit of a pause. None of us have ever faced anything like this before. We have never faced a private citizen, one private citizen, coming in and purporting to take over agencies of the United States government, giving free access to government information and given the power, at least believing that he has the power, to fire people across the government. So this is shocking. It is in some ways beyond what we thought of Trump. He now has someone who has his own idiosyncrasies and issues and ego working side by side. And I think that people are overloaded with trying to confront Trump's own actions and then also trying to address the actions of Elon Musk, who's having a huge footprint in this administration.
Right. And it seems in some sense that Donald Trump has leased the presidency to Elon Musk and is allowing him to act in his stead, to essentially act as his own form of president. But that's not even acting like a president because, funds are allocated by Congress, not the president. So even if Trump were doing it, it would be outside the boundaries of what we understand as the Constitution. But I just want to go through some of this. This idea that Donald Trump or the executive branch can offer people an inducement to leave their jobs, which every single federal employee got it. Mm-hmm. There is no statutorial basis for saying that the executive branch can offer people a severance package, right? Like, that's not possible.
Well, so this is the thing, Joy. You hit the nail on the head, and early in the lead up, you talked about Elon Musk buying himself a president. If we are not in short order able to move quickly, he will have bought himself a country. The people that we should be focusing our attention on are the people who are actually authorized to create government agencies. And that's the United States Congress, right? They are the ones who create agencies by statute. I've been hearing rumors about, the president wishing to close the Department of Education. The Department of Education was created by Congress pursuant to a statute in 1979, like the Department of Veterans Affairs was created by statute in 1987 by Congress, like the Department of Homeland Security was created in 2006. And if President Biden said he wanted to shut down the Department of Homeland Security, or worse, if he had a billionaire friend come in and begin to decimate and dismantle the Department of Veterans Affairs or the Department of Homeland Security, everyone would know it was illegal. And Congress, the organization, the body that creates those institutions, would be up in arms. And I think the reason why this feels so strange, the reason why it's so quiet, is because we are dealing with a majority in the Congress of Republicans who have decided to turn over their power, their authority, their obligation to engage in checks and balances, the full level of their authorization over agencies. They have decided to turn that over to Trump to do whatever he will. And Trump has decided to turn that over to Musk. So we are dealing with two levels of congressional abdication of their power. And so as much as we talk about Trump and like to talk about Trump, we've got to start talking very seriously about Mike Johnson, about Republicans who have abdicated. They are the elected representatives. Nobody elected Elon. He's just a guy who has been allowed to insert himself in our government and is creating lots of damage. But he cannot do it without the cover of the elected officials who should be representing us and should be stopping him. And what I have not heard is enough of an appeal and a push. I know people talk about the Democrats all the time, but it's the Republicans who have the majority in both the House and the Senate. And they are allowing this executive to snatch from a separate and independent branch of our government their power by allowing Elon to take over these agencies and to engage in the kinds of activity that is not even authorized by law, but that is protected by congressional statute.
Right. And I think this is such an important point that it feels in a sense like this standing down by the majority in Congress is because Musk is accomplishing from an extra legal or an extra governmental position what they could not pass in Congress, right? If you passed rules saying that you were going to sort of strip the government and hand out gimme contracts to Elon Musk, to whoever, I mean, he essentially, if you want to strip food stamps and Meals on Wheels and end Head Start, that would not pass Congress. It seems that they're saying, Elon Musk,
Joy,
you run the government and strip the government bare.
Yeah. Joy, I think it's actually flipped. I actually don't think that the members of Congress precisely appreciate it being done this way. First of all, they are not getting the advantages of the grift. These are Elon's friends and the Harvard senior and the various interns from his businesses who are in there doing this work. So they're not getting the advantage for their friends and family of the grift. And the way it's being done is drawing attention in a negative way to them because their constituents do use SNAP and their constituents do care about their veterans benefits and their constituents do care about Medicare. So they don't actually like it being done this way. The problem is that Trump decided it should be done this way. And the Republicans in Congress are so supine, so frightened of first Trump, but also now frightened of Elon, who has promised to primary anybody who doesn't toe the line. They are so desperate for these jobs that some of them have only had for a few years, so desperate for these jobs in this city that they say is the swamp, that they are willing to lay down and allow it to happen this way. And we saw this with the freeze. It happened in a way that even they didn't like. We didn't hear them talking, but trust me, they were getting the calls to their office too, the Republican members of Congress. They were concerned that their constituents were getting angry and scared about Medicaid and about Medicare and about veterans benefits about SNAP. So I don't think that this is their ideal of how they would want this to happen. I agree with you that they want to cut those programs, but not quite this way so that it gives them this blowback. But they have decided to give in, and so they have no control.
Yeah. And left it to the governors to try to fight for the constituents that they also serve. Sherilyn Ifill, thank you so much, my friend. I appreciate you.